Alright, welcome back to Console Crapshoot, where we spin a wheel to play a random video game on original hardware. Here's an update. This little guy is staying. My ex is keeping him, so you're going to be seeing a lot more of him. His name is Odo, and he is psychotic. Alright, and Carl wants to play the PlayStation 1 today. That's awesome, we rarely get that. And there's 1,141 games on that wheel. Huh. Project Horned Owl. Who are you? I've never heard of you, sir. My interest is piqued. By the way, my voice is not going to be 100%. Long story short, I had a surgery, and I'm going to do my best to sound normal for the next episode or two. So, what is this game? It looks like it's a light gun on-rails shooter. We have a bit of a technical issue here. So, as you may know, light guns of this era really only work on CRT monitors, old TVs. I don't have a CRT. Before you give me crap in the comments, I know. Nowadays, you can achieve pretty much the same look with the RetroTink 4K that I have here, if you have a really nice OLED screen, but I do want a very specific CRT. There's one I'm holding out for. It's the reason I haven't bought one. It's really hard to find in North America. I won't get into why, but I need that specific model for my setup. This is now the part where the CRT snobs come out in the comment section. Those guys are the absolute worst, but trust me, I know what I'm doing. Maybe we'll discuss it in another video. So, yeah, I can't use a light gun on my current setup. That's the one major downside here. So that really sucks. It also really sucks to use just a regular PlayStation controller to do a light gun game. That's not ideal, but I do have an alternative that's the next best thing, and that's the PlayStation mouse. Nowhere near as fun as a light gun, but it's way better than using a controller. It gives you the precision of a light gun, but just takes away all the fun. And this animation is beautiful. Oh, you're local, I guess you play as local police. That's maybe a little disturbing. You know, military is one thing, but if your local police department is coming down on your neighborhood with $500 million mech suits, sorry, but that's not exactly community outreach. Maybe someone needs to be defunded. You didn't hear that from me.
They're having way too much fun down there. We'll take care of that.
Let's get down there and crush some disadvantaged groups. Not cool, guys. If Riot Zone from episode 48 taught me anything, it's that the default character is kind of boring. If the alternative is like a giant weird goon, we're gonna pick him. Oh, and the animation quality makes a little more sense now. I looked it up. A lot of the artwork and character designs were done by Masamune Shiro. If you don't know him, you might know his work. He made Ghost in the Shell. That's like one of the GOAT animes for sure. And I'll be honest, I've never been into like on-rails shooters. I like light gun games, and it's kind of hard to make a light gun game without it being on rails, you know? Like, how else would you control where you're going? You can't like freely roam. Like, you're really just supposed to be shooting. So I get it. It's its own genre, but it's never been a favorite of mine. But light guns are fun. And my first impression here is that this is a pretty good light gun shooter. Not only are the animation sequences great, but the graphics are generally pretty good. There's a whole lot of voice work. There's like a lot of banter, and voice acting in this era of video games were, you know, generally pretty bad. But this is not. This is decent. I like this. And it's like actively engaging. It's not boring. The settings are changing. The challenges changing all the time. It keeps you on your toes without being too difficult, at least the normal difficulty I'm playing on. Cutscenes between every level, waves of enemies that change, new types of enemies every level, and it's not too long. I mean, these light gun shooter games generally are not too long. This is 5 missions. That feels about right. There's like a good combination of like 3D environments and some 3D enemies, as well as some 2D sprite kind of enemies. When it makes sense, it's pretty visually engaging. I dig this. You could tear through this in, I don't remember how long this took me. It had to be under an hour and a half for sure. Maybe even an hour, but it went by quick. It was fun. Oh, and I should mention the villain organization in this game is called Metallica. That's funny. The end credits music is fantastic. Can't beat that, and this game does something that I wish all arcade games do. You know how when you play arcade games, you put your initials in? You know, you got a great score, and then when people go to play that game, whether it's at home on your memory card or ideally in an arcade, they see your name up there. Let's see, you got the highest score and your name's up there forever. That's really cool, and this game takes that to a whole nother level. You can actually just draw your name. So forever and ever, you're gonna have a picture that you drew next to your high score, and for obvious reasons, I guess now I see why no one's ever done this before, because, you know, I took the bait. I immediately drew a dick. That was my instinct. That's what I immediately had to do. So I guess I answered my own question. Yeah, that's why you've never seen that feature. But hey, what did we think of Project Horned Owl on the PlayStation 1? Hey look, it's not my favorite genre like I said, but as far as light gun shooters go, this is really fun and refreshing. I really liked it. If you have a CRT, if you have 2 PlayStation light guns, This is something I could see busting out when a friend is over and playing and it being really, really fun. Not many people are going to have that kind of setup, but if you do, this game's for you. If you don't have that ability, I guess it's not something I would recommend, spending money on. Clicking on the mouse isn't that fun, and playing any light gun game with any regular controller is just such a bummer. I don't recommend that at all. But with all that said, I think this game is really good. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Solid, out of left field ass game, an unexpected, unique little treat. Kind of like Odo over here, right? Carl wasn't too happy, but he's warming up to him a little bit. All right, that was a fun one. The march toward episode 100 continues. Join us next Friday for another one. Looking forward to it. See you then.